You hear me? Everything's good?
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. Well, it's New Year's Eve, and I could think of no one better to share my New Year's Eve show with me than Maria Fudas, who is a really inspirational lady. She's a book author. She's a certified assertiveness transformational coach and speaker, and something called MF Transformation. I got to ask you what MF Transformation is all about. And she's written a great book that's called Connect with Yourself and Others. And it's about connection and about love. And I've had the privilege of chatting with Maria before. She's also a card reader, and I think she may read some cards for us. And she really is someone that has an intuitive ability to get to understand what people are all about and figure out what our pros and cons are and what some of the things that we got to think about doing. And she talks about learning how we have to learn how to master ourselves and become the best version of ourselves. We have to bust through our fears and align with love. Maria Fudas, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Brian, and thanks for the great introduction. It's such a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you so much for joining me again. So what do you think we need to do to enter 2022 as best we possibly can? What sort of guidance, what suggestions have you got for us?
You know what? I'm going to start with, just, if it's okay with you, just to read this perfect little parable. It's a native Indian little Cherokee wisdom, which will kind of set up the tone, maybe, how we should be living. Is that okay to read that for 2 seconds?
Sounds great.
Okay, so it's a lot of your audience, yourself as well, might be familiar with it because it's a very popular one, but it's one that we need to hear once in a while. I think it's going to be a great reminder. So here it is. So an old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. A fight is going on inside me, he says to the boy. It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One is evil. He is angry, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued. The other is good. He is joy. He is peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you, he tells the boy, and inside every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute and then asked his grandfather, which wolf will win? The old Cherokee simply replied, the one you feed. So my question is today and every day to every single guest out there, which wolf are they feeding? Which wolf are you feeding? And it's important to recognize that we have a choice. Every single minute, every single day that we wake up, we have a choice. Which wolf, which master within us is gonna win? Which one are we gonna give power to? Because there's always two voices within us. One is that of love, which is the one that my book talks about and my teachings talk about to learn to live and act by. And the other one is fear. Those are the two masters, love or fear. So every given time, every given thing you're doing, a reaction is based out of love or fear. So we need, starting in this new year, 2022, to make a conscious commitment to live more with love and not fear, which is ego-based. And we could talk about that if you want a little bit.
I would like to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, I read your book, as you know, and I really enjoyed it. But I was a little bit surprised by it because I thought it was going to be about romantic love or sexual love or something like that. And it's interesting. The Greeks had, I guess, a couple different definitions of love, and eros, I think, was sort of sexual or romantic love. And then agape was more sort of brotherly love, and your love was more about love of oneself, self-love. And I don't even know if the Greeks had a word for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was, I thought my sense of your book, it was number one about to love someone else, you've got to love yourself first. And so there was a lot of things about self-love and understanding oneself. And then the second thing was more about brotherhood love, more like agape. Is that a fair description of it?
Yeah, you know what? Because I find most of the clients that come to me, they all come for romantic relationships, and they want something easy. They want, how do I get the guy, or how do I get the girl? without realizing, we're always basically aligning with our opposite selves. Whoever's in the mirror, that's who you're attracting. So in order to attract the person that you want, you have to become that person. And people don't recognize that. And I made it to make it look like romantic love, to get the people in, to bring them through the journey. And as you saw with the book, to recognize them that ultimately it starts with self. So because you're the common denominator with all the people that you're interacting with.
So you're saying opposites don't attract? You attract someone similar to yourself?
Yeah, see, people think it's an opposite, but energetically, you're aligned. So what you're aligned with is energetically. For example, let's take a person that's abusive. So a guy that's abusive and a woman that sticks around. They seem like total opposites. One's a narcissist and one's passive, correct? But what's happening is energetically, they're at the same levels. What we attract is the energetic equal to us. Not necessarily, so that's sometimes it could be opposites, but energetically they're the same. For example, the person that's abusive to his wife, why is he like that? It's because he has a very low self-esteem. He feels inadequate, he feels unworthy. So that's his way of trying to enforce that. A very confident person will always seek to get the best out of their partner, to have them become the best version of themselves. But someone that's not doesn't feel good within themselves, or is not confident within themselves, or has issues, feels unworthy or not enough, will always act out negatively. So then you'll attract a woman or a man that's going to be the same kind of thing energetically. So why does the woman stick around with the guy that's abusive? Because she doesn't have the self-confidence. She doesn't feel worthy, except her manifestations come out in a whole different way.
Fascinating. So it's not opposites that attract, but it's someone that's equal to you from an energetic standpoint. So an abuser attracts someone that wants to be abused or is willing to put up with the abuse, effectively, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because
the narcissist and the codependent.
Yes.
That's interesting. But your book was more about that the key to finding love was to loving yourself, first of all, because if you didn't love yourself, you couldn't find someone else to love.
Exactly.
And part of it was that you couldn't find love from someone else. You had to build the love within yourself.
Yeah, because look at it this way. I mean, if you truly don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else? In a deeper level is what I'm talking about. All the other kind of love is usually codependent. People fall in, and there's people, I have friends, some people fall in love so easily all the time, correct? They're like, oh my God, I'm in love with this person. Do you have one of these friends? Oh, I found this person, I'm in love. Oh my God, this is the perfect person. This is the perfect person. But I mean, ultimately, they're not really connected with themselves to recognize, okay, once you truly love yourself for who you are, and then you're not really looking on the outside for the other person to validate you or to bring in that love, because otherwise, like you were saying, it's a codependency. So once you're not codependent, once you own yourself, once you become whole, and actually the word heal comes from a Germanic word, which means to become whole. So once you heal yourself and you go through the steps, the journey, I didn't know that.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
the word heal comes from a Germanic word to mean whole.
It means whole. It means to be whole. So funny enough, yeah, when I was doing my book, I looked that up and I thought that's how I came up with that chapter. It's like, that's perfect, because that's ultimately what you need to do. You need to heal yourself. We need to heal ourselves in order to become whole. So instead of being two halves looking to become whole, which then creates codependent relationships and relationships that are usually, you're looking for somewhere else to get the love that you should be having inside. But once you're whole within yourself, and I'm not saying every day is going to be perfect. I'm not saying that everything's going to be perfect. The difference is I won't be looking for Brian to make me happy at those days. I have the wisdom to recognize that I have to make myself happy. It doesn't matter what you say, what you do. That's not going to really give me the joy within. It might give me temporary joy, but ultimately you become an endless pit if you're always expecting other people to make you happy. And it's true with anything, right? Like, I mean, if you take, for example, look at people that are very wealthy, look at people that have great careers. And, we've had some people, Bourdain, there was a few very famous people a few years ago that committed suicide. So they seem to have everything, but the happiest people, to be happy and to be totally, to love yourself completely means you're your own cheerleader. You're not really relying on someone else. It's great for somebody to give me compliments, to be nice to me. But it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I recognize everybody's just projecting what's truly within themselves. So if you're mean to me, I have the wisdom to know that it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with who you are. And that's where the transformation starts, which is what the MFD stands for. You were asking before, Maria Fudas Transformation. And the way I do my courses, and the book touches a lot on that, transform. It's really to change form, to stop living from the outside and start living from the inside. And that's where the Indian Cherokee wisdom here comes, where he's saying, which wolf are you allowing to feed? Which is stronger? The difference is, once you transform, you change form from living from the outside world where the fears are, you're starting to live within instead, within where your soul is, your spirit, whatever you call it, but your inner wisdom, your divine, that's where your divinity is. That's where your energy is, right? We're all energetic beings, and Einstein said this, so it has nothing to do with, new age stuff. We're all energy, and that's all there is. So we're energetic beings having a physical experience. So transform and start living with your energetic being and enjoy the physical experience, but start living with the wisdom of the divine being that you are, which is powerful beyond measure. And that's where that's where ultimately you start living with love and peace from the inside out. Once you have it inside, then you can bring it out to the other person truthfully without expecting anything. And if they act badly, you have the wisdom to know, well, okay, Maria, Brian, they're not acting well right now. They're having a bad day. I'm going to kind of go back. And I know it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the other person. So you have the ability, not only the wisdom, but you have the capability to do that, because and on a deeper level, it's on a biological level. It's not just the wisdom, where you truly recognize that everybody's projecting at any given time. So start living with, transform, living from the inside, the being that you are, not the outside, because the outside is where the fear comes in, and the ego. And the ego, the way I explain it in my book, and the way
hold on.
Yeah,
We're going to come back and talk about ego, I guess, after, because we need to get a message break in here. We're chatting with Maria Fudas tonight on New Year's Eve about love and peace and transformation. Come back to us in just a minute. Stay with us, everybody.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. We're chatting tonight, New Year's Eve, with Maria Fudas. Happy New Year's, everybody. And we're talking about love, and we're talking about peace, and we're talking about transformation, and we're talking about ideas that Maria's got. She's a transformational coach, about how we can set ourselves up right for the new year. Maria, you were just finishing up talking about ego. And I guess ego is one of those things that hampers people a lot. How do we get our ego in check when we think about 2022? Yeah,
so the ego, the way I say it as well, is it comes from the outside. The word ergom in Greek means one. So it's thinking that you're singular and not really connecting with the divine and the oneness of everybody and the energy that's around us to connect. So that's what ego is. And ego always comes with fear, because thinking that you're alone is fearful. Thinking that you're not one with everybody, thinking that you and I are not the same, creates all the fear, whether it's religion, politics, differences. It's the ego that creates that. It's our physical self once we come into this world. And that creates all the fears that we experience. But once you start living from the inside, recognizing who you are, remembering who you are, then you're able to live with the love. And of course, what you said, how to manage it, recognize that the ego and the fear is necessary. We need it for contrast, and we need it for survival. So it's not about getting rid of it. It's about taming it.
Taming the ego. Not getting rid of it, but taming it.
So imagine it's this wild lion in a cage. That's what your ego and your fear is. So it's not about, killing the lion. It's about taming it, managing it. And that's what you need to do. And the way to do it, if you'd like, it's a 4-step process. Pause, breathe, reflect, then act.
Pause, breathe, reflect, and act.
So basically, as soon as you feel your sympathetic nervous system activated, which is the fight, flight, or freeze mode, right? Which is when you get afraid, that's what happens. Instantly pause. Pause, catch yourself basically before you act or react, and see. And then pause, take a deep breath, in through your nose, up through your mouth, take 3 deep breaths and center yourself again. Bring yourself back into balance, then pause, breathe, reflect. Ask yourself, why am I activated right now? Is it real fear, or is it just the illusion of fear? Am I just activated because I'm anxious about something, because I'm not comfortable with something, or is it real fear? And then act and react. Once you're able to assess why you're activated And usually you'll find, because at that moment you're not about to act assertively, which means you're not about to own your truth. You're not about to be honest with yourself or with the other person. And that's usually when you'll be activated. So pause, breathe, reflect, and then act or react to the invitation to the other person or to yourself. If you're about to do something that's going against your morals or against your
So
divine.
I like that
self.
idea of taming the ego and taming your fear. I like that. New Year, 2022. Setting resolutions or intentions or manifestation or whatever, the language it is you want to use. What suggestions have you got for us? How can we sort of start our year off the best?
So the best way to do it is to recognize that every day is a new beginning. You always have a choice. Every moment we have a choice to begin again. So, and enjoy, and remember, this is not a dress rehearsal. So enjoy it. It's not, life is not a dress rehearsal, right? You're not going to get a do-over. So remember, every choice you do has a direct correlation to what your reality will become. So choose wisely. Choose, and at least make a conscious choice. If you're not going to choose wisely, recognize that it's not going to exactly be the best reality you're going to end up yourself with, which is karma or whatever word you want to use. But basically, it's all depends on your choices. And then make a commitment. And my book Connect has the 4 principles, and they could go through my book Connect, CONNECT. Use those 4 principles, abide by those 4 principles, and you'll be able to transform and to basically start the new year right.
What are the principles from Connect?
So the Connect is basically communication. Be honest with yourself, be authentic and honest with yourself and others. Oneness. Recognize that you're one with everybody. Live your life as if you're one with everybody. Treat everybody the way you want to be treated. Simple, right? And the 2 ends. The one end is notice, awareness, live in awareness. Be aware of why you're doing things, why people are doing things. The other end is for new perspective. Then have a new perspective. Train yourself to live in gratitude. Find something, that's one way, like one of the tools, like you said, how to start the 2022. Train yourself to live in gratitude. If you feel stressed or anxious about something, find something to be grateful for instead. And there's always something to be grateful for, whether it's the air you're breathing, or whether it's your health, whether it's something minor. Find something to be grateful for and focus on that. Focus on gratitude. And then it's empowerment. Basically, the NNE is for enthusiasm, live in enthusiasm. And enthusiasm in Greek means Theo. Theo means God, divine in Greek. So live with a God within, with a divine within. Again, transform yourself to live from the divine within. And once that happens, once you're enthusiastic about life and about your experience here, your journey, then you're inspired. And what's the word inspired? In spirit. Again, living within spirit, listen to the little voice within you. That's where your authentic self is located. And then connect, and the other C is commitment. Make a commitment then. Commit to live with your authentic self. Commit to live with this powerful self that you are. And the last is transformation. Transform to live in awe. Just enjoy life, enjoy the journey, and recognize as long as you're living with love for yourself and others, which is what assertiveness is, living, lovingly with yourself and others, treating everybody well, being assertive, communicating what you don't want, being authentic, and you live in awe, then life is good. And if some things are, happen that aren't exactly pleasant, you'll still be able to bring yourself around once you transform, live in awe, in gratitude, and always choose love. When the little voice of fear comes up, question it. Socrates, my Greek philosopher, said, wisdom starts with questions, basically. So question things. Once you question things, that's where the answers are. Question things. When you're not sure, question, why am I doing this? Why am I thinking like this? Why am I stressed right now? And the answer, you're going to be surprised the answer that you get within you, because we're divine energy. We're divine beings. We have all the answers within. You just have to take the time to ask.
I love your comments about living in gratitude, and I've heard that from other people. I've never heard this line about living in awe. I've heard live with joy, but awe is more than joy. Awe is
exactly an awe. And we all know live with joy, and of course we know happiness is a state of mind. It's not something on the outside that's going to bring us joy. That's what some people fail, which is what you said, what we were talking before. Happiness is a state of mind. make a commitment today that you'll be happy, and then you will. It doesn't matter what happens. Just be happy. Make a commitment, and live in awe. Doesn't matter what comes to you. Live in wonder.
How do you live in awe and wonder?
So how do you live in awe and wonder? Basically, just allow things to come to you. Just allow things to come to you. You don't have to know your destination every single time. You don't have to know exactly how everything is going to go. And God, there's an expression that says, when you make plans, God laughs. I'm not saying we should make long-term plans, and we should know where we want to go, but ultimately know that not everything will happen exactly the way you want it, and be okay with that, and live in awe and say, you know what? Imagine waking up in the morning and say, I wonder what this day is going to be like. I wonder what's going to happen in my life, and being okay with that. That's what living in awe is. Being okay with not knowing. Okay, so you comment about when you make plans, God laughs. So don't manifest, don't commit, don't make resolutions. Of course, manifesting, we do. So we manifest with our thoughts. See, that's the thing. So we do. We do manifest with our thoughts. The way the manifestation works is we manifest with what we're thinking, with emotion. So of course you want to expect the best. Your authentic self already knows where you want to go. So have that dream. Live, love, dream where you want to go. And that's Einstein said that too. Imagination is everything. More important than knowledge, correct? That's what I mean by that. You don't have to have the knowledge how you're going to get there. Have the imagination, have the dream. And Einstein said this. Imagination is more important than knowledge. You don't have, so that's what I mean by that. Live in awe and allow the universe, allow the wonders, the God winks, the coincidences, if you want to call them, to come to you and align your dream the way you want to have it. Well, one of the things that Einstein supposedly said as well was that coincidences are God's way of staying anonymous. Exactly. They're divine interventions kind of thing, right? Yeah. So I was watching something the other day, and they call them God winks. I like that term. They call what? God winks. Basically, it's God winking at you, letting you know, hey, I'm doing something for you. So pay attention, be aware of those little coincidences that kind of could change your path. Because ultimately, then you have a choice, correct? Yeah. So those coincidences come, but then you have to have the awareness to make the right choice, to make the right decision. Okay. But like on New Year's Eve, should we be making plans, or should we be waiting for the coincidences to show us what our plans should be? Yeah, I like to say, sure, make your what we call resolutions. I mean, it shouldn't be a resolution. It should really be your way of living. So make a commitment. My main thing I would tell your audience is make a commitment today to live in your magnificence. Make a commitment to live in your magnificence. In your magnificence. Yes. That's a powerful. Yeah, magnificence and the powerful objective. Live in your magnificence. I love it. Make that commitment. So once you make that commitment, then everything's going to happen. And if you just say you're going to go to the gym and you're not in the gym every day, you're not going to be like feeling bad afterwards. Oh my God, I didn't go. Just make a commitment to live in your magnificence, and then everything will fall in place. And then every day, just do your best to live in that magnificence, magnificence would be eating right, taking care of your mind, body, and soul, really what it is. That's what living in your magnificence is. So make a commitment to take care of your mind, body, and soul. And then after that, everything will fall in place. And if you stray a little bit, just don't be too hard on yourself is what I say. As long as you're still aligned and you're still like morally recognizing that, hey, I am magnificent, even though sometimes my choices are not the same. I'm this powerful divine being that's manifesting every single time as I go along. Because a lot of times our thoughts and what we want change from month to month or day to day. Correct? And the way we manifest is where what we're thinking, but also with emotion. It's not just what we want. It's what we focus on. And that's what some people mistaken. It's what we focus on. So make sure that you focus on what you want and not what you don't want. I do like this idea of manifest with emotion. And, a lot of people have commented about vision boards or objectives or strategies or goals or plans or dreams or whatever that being. And I met with this one guy who's really quite impressive. And he says, what you got to do is you got to really feel it. You got to magnify it. You got to focus on it, to use your words. And the best way to do it is to create an emotion about it. And so he says, rather than say, pay off your mortgage, take a picture of your mortgage, put it on the wall with big paid off on top of it, paid off in full. And emotion that you feel when you've paid off your mortgage in full will inspire you. Or if, someone wanted to,
get a car. They said, don't just, say, I want a car, or don't even put a picture of the car on the wall. Go build a model of that car, buy a model kit and build the kit and put it on the desk or the table. And then the emotion of actually driving that car that you want. Or if you want to get in shape, go and run and experience the exhilaration of that good run. And that's what you want to remember, the emotion of how good you felt when you were exhausted and yet you felt fantastic for the exercise that you got.
Yeah, exactly. And, and this is a little thing you could, a little teaser in your head, you could kind of say, basically just sit and let's say it's a car. Just instead of saying, I want that car. Yeah, because if you're wanting, you're telling the universe that you're always wanting that car. Instead, you've got to live it. You're driving that car. So instead, and then a way to kind of get into that vibe with emotion, just say, wouldn't it be nice to drive that car instead of I wanted? Wouldn't it be nice? Isn't it nice driving that car? So this way it will help you get into the emotional part instead of just the thinking part. Isn't it nice to be fit? Ooh, I'm fit, I'm healthy. Isn't it nice? So this way it helps you mentally to get into the emotion instead of just the logic. And that's where people that's not make a mistake, but that's where they struggle with. And then they're like, oh, I never manifest, because nothing I want comes. Sure, they're manifesting, but they're manifesting whatever they're focusing on with emotion. That's the problem.
We're chatting tonight with Maria Fudas. She is a book author, a certified assertiveness transformational coach, and a speaker. And she's the author of Connect with Yourself and Others. We're going to take a break for some messages and come back with Maria, and we're going to ask her to read some cards for us. That'll be fun. Stay with us, everybody. Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. We're chatting tonight with Maria Fudas, who is one of my favorite people. She's a book author. She's a certified assertiveness transformational coach and a speaker, and she is the author of a book, Connect with Yourself and Others, that's all about connection and love. And we've been chatting about, what to do, really, frankly, all the time, though we've been focused on New Year's Eve, but what we need to do all the time. And Maria has been telling us that she helps empower and guide people on how to bust through fears and live the life that we all want to love, with self-empowerment, inner peace, and joy. Maria gives you tools to achieve love, peace, success, and power from the inside out. Sounds fantastic. Maria, are you going to read some cards for us?
Yes.
New Year's Eve, how wonderful.
I know. We'll see what the future holds for 22. I have two different cards I'm going to do for you guys. I'm going to do the tarot cards, and then I'll do some angel cards as well. And the way we're going to do it is I'm going to pick 3 cards. So each person that's listening now can choose a number from 1 to 3 for this, and then they could change their number afterwards if they like. But before I start, I just want to note that I'm not a psychic. I'm not a medium. I'm a clairaugnisant and a clairaudient, which means I have a deep feeling, a deep knowing. And also I hear, I don't hear voices really, but I have a deep, I do hear, like, I'm connected with the divine. So I have like an internal voice which guides and tells me what the answer is. So that's how I do my cards, and that's how I do my readings. Okay. So I'm very intuitive, basically. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to start with the tarot cards, and they're the basic tarot cards. And I'm going to choose 3. I'm going to shuffle them. I'm going to choose 3. So I've taken out the main cards right now, just for this purpose, so instead of using all the cards within. So everybody's going to choose a number from 1, 2, or 3. And then I'm going to pick up 3 cards, and depending on what it is, I'm going to give you a little guidance as to what you want. Now, you could either ask yourself a question to get the answer, or it could be just a basic guidance. Okay. Okay. So choose a number from 1 to 3. So let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 1. We're just going to see what card kind of pops out. 2. See what the universe kind of throws out. 3. Oops. Okay. So if you chose number 1, you got the Magician. And the Magician is one of the best cards. It means manifesting, which was what we were just talking about, basically. So it's reminding you that you're a magician. So if it's something particular that you ask, it's the universe is letting you know, the divine is letting you know that you can manifest this. Align within yourself and manifest it. So whatever it is you want, it could be in the cards. You're already aligned with it. You can manifest it. So an easy way to kind of do it is feel as if you already have it. See yourself as if you already have it, and you're basically just aligning. So you're in a parallel universe, you're already having it, and you're just aligning with that energy. So whatever you have, you're manifesting, and you're going to manifest, and it's reminding you that you're a magician. Everything you want, you can have. That's great. So manifesting,
you want, you can have.
Focus on what you want.
If you pick
yes,
number
that
one.
was number one.
Now, if you
the
pick
second
number two.
one is number two is judgment.
Oh no.
Judgment doesn't mean exactly what you think it means, though. If you look at the card carefully, it looks like a resurrection, right? It's like everybody, you see the angel on top with the, sorry, the wrong, put in the middle of it. You see the angel on top with a message, and then it's like it's a resurrection. Things are coming out. People are coming out. It's like new beginnings. So that's really what it is. It means there's a new beginning for you. The angels, I call them angels, but the guidance, some people call it universe, whatever you want to call it. I have a connection with the angels. I call them angels, but basically they will guide you. So if there's something particular that you're asked for, it's letting you know that there's going to be a new beginning in this. It's going to be a resurrection. So basically it's almost like, so if it's an old relationship or something, it's going to come back. It's going to resurrect. If it's something that you want, it's going to come back in a new way. So that's what this card is telling you. Okay. And if you didn't ask for anything in particular, it's just basically letting you know there's a new beginning happening to you. Judgment, new beginning. Gotcha. Number three. Ooh, the Tower. So the Tower, this means everything is going chaos. Oh, that's not necessarily a bad card. Oh God. Now, if you
said that twice on both Judgment and this one, you said not necessarily a bad card.
Not necessarily bad. I'm gonna tweak it. So the Judgment, the Tower, basically, as you can see, everybody's falling off the tower. But what that means is, if it's a relationship, it means it's going to be like lightning bolts. It's going to be electrifying. See, it's going to be like, see how you have the electricity and the electrical. So if it's a relationship, or a certain thing that you ask for, it just means it's going to be electrifying. It's going to be like out of this world kind of thing. And there's going to be a change, but it's going to be electrifying. That's really what this card means. And if you haven't asked for anything in particular, it just means there's a big change happening in your life. Okay, so I picked number three. So big change is coming in my life. Is that right? Yeah, there's a change. It's going to be like boom, mind blowing. Okay, okay, so it's not bad. Change is coming. Yeah, it's good. I mean, and you're a manifester, so you're going to manifest good. Simple. Okay, so let's do the angel cards too. These are ones that are a little bit more. Well, they're the angel cards, so it's a different tone to them. And I'm using the archangel cards by doing Virtue. See them there? Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out. For this, I'm gonna use all of them because they're all pretty okay. So again, I'm gonna use three cards for your audience. You could choose from number 1 to 3. Again, you could ask a direct question, or it could just be a message from the angels. So number 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my glasses on these because these ones are usually such small red letters. Just want to see what it says. Number 1, chakra clearing. So this is good. If your audience actually hasn't listened to last year's interview we did, they should go listen to it. And I know you have it on your on briancrombie.com. I have it on my Facebook and on my stuff as well. Go and listen to it, because last year we did a chakra cleaning. We did a chakra unblocking. So go and listen to. You don't have to listen to the whole interview. You can, but listen to the ending where we have the chakra cleansing meditation in order to clear your chakras. And what it's telling you is call upon to clear and open your chakras using your sacral basically shape. So it's all about clearing your chakras. So if you chose this card, it means that you're kind of not aligned right now. You're kind of like. You're not in peace. You're not, there's either stress or worry, or you're living more basically in the ego and the fear than you are in the love aspect. So you've got to align, you've got to clean your chakras. And just an easy way to do it right now is just take a deep breath. Like we said, pause, breathe, reflect, act. Just pause, take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And wherever you're feeling tension in your body, basically that means that chakra, that part of your body needs to be, if you're feeling pain anywhere in your body, means that chakra is blocked. And the way you unblock it is, I mean, I can't go through the whole thing right now, but go to the last year's interview, and we did a whole segment on that, a whole meditation. So basically, you're not aligned right now. You need to balance your chakras. You need to balance your energies.
Okay.
And that's what chakras is, your energies.
Okay.
Number two, nurture. So nurture, as you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child. Both activities are important for you right now. So what this is saying, and if you see the card, it's a little baby in there and the mother's kind of going around. It doesn't necessarily mean just a baby. I mean, if you have a baby, it just means nurture. If that's the case, literally, nurture your baby and yourself. It's important you take time for yourself as well, not just for the child. But this is a deeper meaning. So what this means is take time to nurture your inner child, which is what we were talking about before. Go within yourself. Recognize who you are. Be kind with yourself. Be your best friend. Don't be difficult with yourself. Don't. And a lot of people, I have clients that I speak to, and they find that they're all judgmental, harder with themselves than they are with anybody else. So become your best friend and nurture that little child inside. Remember, you're a divine being, and there's a little child within you. It doesn't matter if you've made mistakes, bad choices. Go back to recognizing who you are. Nurture that child. Become your best friend, and basically, be your authenticity. Own your truth, and it's not only important to express it, but also to be in tune with it for yourself. Don't do things that you're not comfortable with, or that don't align with your morals and who you are.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Number three.
So the third one, divine order. So this one right now is telling us everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see underlying order. So what this card is reminding us right now is that, like we were talking before in your segment, everything is always okay. You're exactly where you need to be at this point in your life. So don't question it. Live in awe. Everything, don't say, oh, if I did this, if I did that, what's going to happen? This. There's divine, the universe has laws. Everything is okay. Everything is exactly the way it should be. Everything is balanced. The universe, God, whatever word you want to use, the source, it doesn't matter. These are just words. This magical energy that's around us always has your back, and you're always taken care of. So remember that everything is exactly the way it should be.
Okay. Hold it. So I picked three both times. And so the first time it was chaos. The second time it was divine order. How do I marry up chaos and divine order?
Okay, it's funny that it kind of goes with them together. So the chaos,
they're opposites.
Yeah, they're not. See, opposites are always very intertwined, right? Opposites, they appear like opposites, but they're actually one and the same. So chaos really means like it's something new happening, a new beginning, right? But the divine order is to remember that even though that you might have a new beginning, there might be something that's going to be different in your life. It's exactly the way it should be. Everything is in order. Nothing, always remember, everything is divinely timed and planned. So even chaos is timed and planned. Remember to, like we said before, when living in awe, we've got to recognize that we're here for our journey. So respect your journey. What you've come here to learn, your lessons and everything that we need to learn in this life, I believe we've chosen the lessons we need to learn. So the chaos really is not really chaos. It's really how you look at it. Just because something is changing, it's only chaos if you have the perception of it being chaos. Otherwise, if something happens that's not exactly what you wanted, it's time for a lesson. It's time to go within a little bit and ask those questions that Socrates, my paisano, says. Wonder. That's wisdom comes with wonder. Ask the questions. Why is this happening right now? What do I need to learn from this that happened? Once you learn your lessons, that won't repeat itself again. But if you don't learn
your lessons.
Exactly. Otherwise, you keep repeating and repeating and repeating. But once you learn your lessons, once you become wise, like Socrates said, and you go into wonder, you say, why did this happen? What did I learn from this? And then you learn your lesson and you move on, then everything is balanced. It's balanced all the time.
Supposedly another famous Greek saying that said, we suffer our way to wisdom. So you got to have those bad experiences, those bad lessons to become wise in the end.
Yeah, and even, Brian, as you know, I mean, not that you've had any failures, but you're a businessman, as you know, failure is part of success. You can't have success without failing. And there is no failures, really. Those are where the lessons are. If you take a baby, that's crawling, if a baby said, okay, that's it, trying to walk is too hard, I'm never going to get up, it would never get up and walk. So falling is part of success. That's where the difference, the new perspective, the difference.
I used to work for a very famous billionaire, Jimmy Pattison, and he used to say, there's no mistakes unless you didn't learn from them.
Exactly. And that goes for everything. It goes for business, it goes for relationships, it goes for virtually everything, not just for business. It goes for relationships as well, right? If you don't learn, and with yourself, the relationship with yourself as well. If you don't learn as to what makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you feel bad, or what makes you hurt, then you won't know how to fix it and to get what you want. So you have to know what you don't want in order to get what you want. Like we said before, fear and ego is necessary. We need it for contrast. We need to be sad to know what happy is, correct? We need to know what bitter is in order to know what a sweet candy tastes like. Otherwise, you'll never know. So we need it for the contrast. But you don't have to stay in there. You could choose, okay, now that I know, I'm going to choose the sweet candy instead. And learn.
We're chatting with Maria Fudas, a certified assertiveness coach and a wonderful lady. We're going to take a break for some messages and come back with a meditation for the new year. Stay with us, everybody. Well, happy New Year's Eve, everybody. And it's a real pleasure for me to welcome Maria Fudas back to the show. She is a assertiveness coach. She's an author. The book, Connect with Yourself and Others, is a fantastic book. Maria, if people want to grab your book, how do they get it? On your website or something?
Yeah, actually, it's sold everywhere that books are sold. So you could go to Amazon.com. You could go to Chapters. You could go to anywhere, Walmart, anywhere, basically. It's an ebook as well, Kindle. You could get it at Apple Books, iBooks. So anywhere books are sold, Connect with Yourself and Others. And if you put my name, Maria Fudas, you'll be able to get one. If you want a signed copy, you could always reach out to me by.
I never got a signed copy. I'd love one.
Yours is signed.
I read it online, and it was.
Oh, wonderful. You got it on. I did give you a signed copy, but maybe you're misplaced the signed one. I'll give you another one.
Oh. You were going to share a meditation with us.
Sure. And this, I'm going to keep it nice and short now, Brian. So what we'll do is, I thought this would be perfect just to start the new year, 2022. So I pulled this one up. It's a Louise Hay meditation, but I thought it was just perfect, just so we could start positively for 2022. It will kind of bring together everything we spoke about today, to live more with love and to release all the fears and to affirm, to commit to living in our magnificence, in our best selves. Okay. So everybody, you could just relax right now. Hopefully, just if you're holding anything, just relax. Close your eyes. Just take a deep breath and just let all the tensions go. And notice that your scalp needs relaxing. Relax your shoulders and your whole body right now. And just feel relaxed and at peace. As you keep breathing, and as you breathe, let's release all our fears, all the stress, all the anxiety, and just take a moment to know the truth for ourselves. Begin by saying it inside yourself or out loud. Begin by saying, I am a divine, magnificent expression of life, and all of life loves me. I am open and warm and receptive. I bring good experiences into my life. This is a day I have never lived before. I will rejoice in every moment, for I know I shall never live it again. I affirm for myself good health. I express myself creatively, and I have fabulous relationships. I know that my income is constantly growing. I know and affirm that I am appreciated and treated with respect at work, at home, and everywhere. I am at peace. I now open my consciousness to bring some wonderful new people into my life, people I can laugh and have fun with, and exchange wonderful spiritual ideas with. I go forth to meet this day and this new year, 2022, rejoicing in all that I am, in all that I have, and all that shall unfold before me. I am safe, and all is well. I affirm it from all time, space, and dimension, and so it is. Take a deep breath, open your eyes. And like the last angel card said that you chose number 3, everything is divinely in order. There's no reason to have stress. Everything is always going to be okay. And it's okay because we're still alive. So as long as you're living, you know, like they say, till the fat lady sings, but as long as you're living, your life is not over, and it means the good ending is still there to come.
Bria Fudas, thank you so much for joining us on New Year's Eve and inspiring us for 2022.
Thank you, Brian. It's such a pleasure being with you all the time. I love it. Thank you very much. Happy New Year, everyone. And let's live in our magnificence.
Let's live in our magnificence. Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. And all the best for 2022. And one of the things that I hope you do in 2022 is every once in a while check in with me and listen to my program. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, everyone else.
Thank you.
Happy New Year's. Good night.
Thank you.